Radha Swami. Welcome everyone to this satsang. We just had a short conversation and I just received quite a few questions. So let's address some of these questions I have. Let me say a few words. Please understand that when we have this satsang, Ishvar Puri satsang, and when I speak, let's say I speak at this satsang, I speak from the perspective of my experience. And this experience took me in this life 62 years already. And I met many spiritual people, very interesting people, masters. But this satsang, I speak from the perspective of my master, Mr. Puri. Although I met masters beside Mr. Puri, whoever they are, in this life, I speak from the perspective of my master. So if you follow these different gurus, Vaha gurus, sants or saints, sant gurus, they all have a little bit different way of explaining things. And Mr. Puri had also, how should I say, his way of explaining things. There are many people initiated by many different masters. Many different levels of initiation. So when I try to answer these questions or ask my master to answer these questions, I'm speaking from that call it point of view. I'm speaking from my perspective and my connection. So someone may say, well, this master or that master say something different, and that's okay. If you study all these different gurus, let's say 100 of them, in Radha Swami faith and gurus from Vyas and so forth, starting from Swami Ji of Agra, Shiv Dayal Singh, they all have their own, so to speak, point of view. So I'm always referring and trying to explain this as Mr. Puri explained to me. As he in the past, now, and the future. To me, it doesn't matter. The past, present, and future does not reflect my friendship with my master and the great master. He took that away, this perspective, permanently before he left his physical form. In other words, my master, he made arrangements. And I know exactly when that happened and so on, because I have like this little book. I write so many things when I was with the master. So I was just reading lately, and I was like stunned. The things he said and these experiences, I and Grace were going with the master and what he revealed to us. But one of the things he revealed to us and to me, that this time and space between him, I, and the great master doesn't exist anymore. So made arrangement before he left that this is eliminated, so to speak. So it is this is the eternal relationship. No matter what anybody thinks, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Even I cannot affect this relationship because it's done, it's over, it's permanent, cannot be ever reversed. So I'm speaking from that perspective. So is there anyone who would like to take some of these questions and explain that you heard? So let me go, let me start addressing this maybe kind of quickly, each question. Well, this I'm going from the end to the beginning. What does it mean to follow instructions of the master? The concept of the master in Sutra Yoga and Sant Mat is the concept of Sant, who initiated you. So the most important part I found out is the initiation. So if anyone come across guru or Sant, who actually is the perfect living master, this is someone who has a power of Namdan. In other words, they have a power of initiation. So if they give you blessings, they have that in them or within them that they can actually give you initiation. And in Sant Mat, this is we call it this connection with the Shabbat or Sant current. Please understand that the Sant current exists in each of you. We all have this sound and light within ourselves. So it is the point of recognition that how to recognize that. So when Master initiates you, he gives you, it's like a jumper cable. Your battery is a little bit, the battery in the car is a little bit low, and you use the jumper cable to start the process, and then would be running itself, so to speak. This is a very kind of a metaphor. So during initiation, master will give you instructions. In Sutra Yoga, there's only one initiation. There are some gurus or masters or teachers who will give you more than one initiation and so forth and so forth. But in Sutra Yoga, there's only one initiation. Sometimes they call two initiations because this one initiation can have two parts, depends on your age and so forth. This is the story of Hazur Baba Savansin, the great master, will do it. And they will give half initiation, these masters, to like children maybe, and then give the instructions. And We basically did initiation in the light and then initiation in the sound. Although these are all both the same from the higher aspect, these are just explanation, experience of light and sound. So if you are initiated by the perfect living master, Mr. Puri, to me, he was the perfect living master. Maybe, yeah, I don't want to go beyond that because so he proved it to me. So if you were initiated by Mr. Puri, you receive your instructions. And those instructions are the second part of initiation. He will give you all of these masters in Vyas lineage. He will give you 5-word Simran, a mantra. And these are your instructions. Also, if you're initiated by Mr. Puri, you receive some additional instructions. I will not speak about those, but those who were initiated by him, they will know what I'm referring to. And these are extremely, very, very important instructions also. Most people miss on that. And these are instructions referring to if you find all the rest. So these are instructions for us to follow. Also, part of the instruction is to keep our word. To keep our word and what we agree upon, no meat, no alcohol, no drugs, and vegetarian diet, with the exception of the dairy product. We can't drink milk, for example, milk products and all that. I am not vegan, I am vegetarian, so I follow kind of a diet the great master was having, I believe he had the cows, he had all that, to have a milk and so on. Now, during your life as so let's assume you do meditation as master instructed you. In case of usually it's about 2.5 hours a day. Mr. Puri explained that any meditation is better than no meditation, even if you do 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes before you go to bed. Some of these masters, they will tell you some meditation at 3 a.m. And that has to do with the cycle. And also in India, that was the quiet time. There was no street noises at the time, and so on. So most people were still sleeping. So the great master will say, "Let's start for everybody in the Dera to do meditation 3 a.m. and he will go around and have a prasad and start waking people up. And some people will not, they were not doing it at 3, so they miss on prasad. These are the stories Mr. Puri explained, because he also had a house there at one time. Mr. Puri and so forth, a lot of people were living at the Dera, maybe not permanently, but they had their houses. If you were initiated by Mr. Puri, this is, and you received the Great Master initiation. This is your last life. Now I'm speaking for initiation given by Mr. Puri. I'm not speaking someone being initiated by any other master, or someone initiated by St. Charan or St. Kirpal Sen, or Darshan Sen, or Rajendra Sen. I'm not speaking in the name of all these different masters. And to my knowledge, as far as I can go back, they do not claim. I never heard any of these masters to say this is the great master initiation. Mr. Puri, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, is the only one who said on the record, what I am giving you is what I received from my master. And this is the same initiation. And what this initiation implied, this is your last physical life. Generally, but there's a catch to this, so let me explain this. Generally, it takes about 5 to 6 lifetimes. But when the Great Master is speaking about initiation, he says no more than 4 lifetimes. And Mr. Puri explained that. He would say, if you don't do your meditation, if you do this, you may have, maybe another lifetime and anything like that. But generally, this is the last life. But he will say in one of his talk, okay, but there's a catch to this. Excuse me. And now we're referring to this last question. Part of this last question, Asur and Kozo. This is very important because let me explain something. There are 3 karma. Let me make the statement. The biggest slavery of the mind is karma and reincarnation. Karma and reincarnation is the biggest slavery of the mind. And we all right in the middle of it. So my master will explain karma as generally 3 types of karma. Sinchit karma, which is your reserve karma from all these lives you had. Pralabdha karma, which is your current karma. This is a mixture of good and bad karma, which allows you to have this physical form. If you just had a good karma, 100%, you will not be able to have a human form. That applies to everyone, including the master. You will be in heaven, okay, as angel, let's call it. If you had just bad karma, a negative karma, you will be in Asur hell, what they call. To have a few human form, it means to have a mixture of both. Many people say, well, but the masters, they are perfect. And many people claim the masters, they have a perfect physical form, perfect body. So, and they try to insinuate, okay, well, what does that mean? What, you gonna look young forever? Masters get sick. Great master died of cancer. Many of these masters, some of them die of the heart problems, and Mr. Puri had also karma. He was the master. He was a perfect living master, but he also had his karma. So you have a Sanchit, Pralabd, and Kariman. Kariman is the karma we create during this life. All of us, initiated and uninitiated, we do create that karma. It's called Kariman. This is the karma we create presently. Excuse me. Mr. Puri say that when you're initiated by the perfect living master, your Sanchit karma is removed. Please understand that Sanchit karma or reserve karma, that's a millions of lifetimes right there. If this is not removed, there's no even possibility of leaving this trap, leaving the mind. The entanglement is so devious that it's not possible. So you have to be initiated by the perfect living master who has the power of Namdan to eliminate that Sanchit karma. So that is the most important part. Now your Pralabd karma stays with you during this life. And this is your time of birth and your time of death. It's all set. In other words, it's all set. So what you left is with the Kariman karma. So you gotta be a good boy and a good girl, okay? Please understand when Master is alive. I'm sharing something with you which reflect Mr. Puri, what he was doing, great master, okay? Don't try to convey this to what some other master said or did or didn't do it. Instant mat. I'm speaking from teachings of my master. And the teachings of my master are that during initiation, your Sanchit reserve karma is removed. So you have a Pralabd karma. Let's say 80% of that Pralabd karma is like written in stone. You can't change it. So you're left with maybe 20%, and that is even questionable. But there are some situations. So let's say your Pralabd karma is set in stone, including meeting your master, okay? How do I meet the perfect living master? Or do I seek the master, or he's gonna find me, or am I gonna find the master? You know, all this different. This is all set in your Pralabd karma before you were born. In that sense. So you're left with the Kariman karma. Now, some people complain, Master, my Pralabd karma is, you know, I suffer so much. Please help me. Can you change this? Can you change that? Can the master do it? My understanding is that master can do this. And there's a story of a great master and the person who was accused of crime or murder, and he was a disciple of the great master, and he asked the great master, oh, can you help me in this and that? So Great Master Savan Sen, he agreed to it. Then that day, he was going to the car and he cut his hand, I believe, right? Smashed his hand. So, but the guy was acquitted in the court. So can these masters do this? My understanding is yes. They can take part of your karma, and they have to pay for it though. They have to pay for it themselves. So let's say you were initiated by let's say you received the Great Master initiation. And you live in your pralab according to that. So what you are left is with the karma. So it is important how you go about life, because this karma, it also has to be resolved. And please understand that karma, just a little karma can give you many lifetimes. So we have to be a good girls and good boys, have an honest life. And what does that mean? Some people will explain to you, do everything in the name of the master. This is the concept of, if I do everything in the name of God, God is responsible for that karma. I mean, who else can be responsible if I'm just following God's instructions and whatever I'm doing, it's in his name and this and that. So who's responsible for that karma? Is it God or is it you? Ultimately, we are responsible. So I will, this is what I say, that many people, even they were initiated, even if they do not have to reincarnate, they have to resolve this on the astral or causal plane. Now, the best way is to resolve this while you are alive, when you have a still physical body. So there's a catch to it. This is Mr. Puri explained that one of his YouTube videos. Yes, you don't have to be, but there's a catch to it. But if you're in the company of the perfect living master, anything can happen. That's why the master says, do your best and leave the rest. So we have to be honest to each other, not to lie to each other, not to take advantage, not to steal from each other, not to be a good person, even if your life is problematic. We all have the issues in that aspect. Sometimes what they say, when the going get tough, tough get going. We all having this experience, especially now, what's happening around us, the change in the consciousness, the ignorance emerging within the consciousness. When you go back to Sutra of Yoga, there's I was reading one of these masters explaining this. If there's an answer I don't have for myself, I go to my master's Perfect Living Master Manual. Now, I'm not claiming I'm the perfect living master, okay? I'm not saying what that is. Is it the written book, or is it the astral book, or what is it? What is that? What are you talking about? So I have that, but anyway, in Sochab Yoga, some of these masters, they will say the only way not to reincarnate in the physical form or astral form or in your causal form, you have to be established at such kind. Why? You are alive. In other words, if you have opportunity to be with the perfect living master, you were initiated by him. This process should be complete. In my understanding, this process should be complete. When master is still in the physical form, and when you are in a physical form, before master leaves. So there are many satsangis, people initiated even by Mr. Puri, and they kind of, well, let's take a rain check. It's just like, instead of making sure this process is complete, when master is still alive, they will kind of disregard that. Maybe they just don't know about it. Maybe they don't know aware about this, but if you want to have 100%, if you want to be 100% sure, and some of these masters are very, very high masters, they say this is the only way. I hate to break this to you, but the only way to be 100% sure is to establish this consciousness of such kind while you're still alive. And this is the process between the master and you. And so Mr. Puri spoke about list A or list B or list C and all that, even list C. So many people initiated, even with Great Master initiation, if they do not, this is my understanding, okay? But I'm speaking from my own experience. I'm telling you something from my own experience, because I know something like that exists. It may not be spoken, but this actually exists. So your master who initiated you has to complete that process with you before he leaves this world. And this is the process of beyond the mind. Call it process. So that will be only 100% to be sure from the perspective of mind, 100%. Now this aspect of karma and karma, this is the aspect which I spoke about in the past, that this is not easy to talk about, but many will refuse the master, like I spoke at the top of the causal region, or Trikuti. So they will refuse the master. And this is tied in to the karma and karma. This is still part of the mind. For example, master will pass away, but the people will start making these different claims. All kinds of claims, deceiving even their own brothers and sisters, satsangis. And this is part of the karma. And probably one of the most let's say someone falsely pretend to be a master or successor of the real perfect living master, I cannot think personally more heavy karma than that. Because person like that not only deceives themselves, but they also deceive everyone else around them, including brothers and sisters, their own brothers and sisters. So this is maybe something which cannot be ever forgiven. I also at one point had a realization, that some of these things people do, and I'm referring to karma right now, present karma. This may take the person to the mineral state of consciousness. I had this realization one time that that's why I always say this is not a game. For anyone to be on this path of Sant Mat, it's not a game. This is ultimate path. So there's also a huge responsibility to being on this path. And this is individual responsibility. So I also realized at one point, let's say you were initiated, you don't have to reincarnate. Well, reincarnation, I'm referring to physical form. But you may be in a situation on the astral, on the astral form, within the astral form or causal form. When you realize there that this gift of the human life, of the pinned body, physical form, is the best way to get through. So this is not generally taught by these masters, but I spoke about that you may be in a situation that you will beg the master for another lifetime. Because then instead of spending 1,000,000 years, human years within the mind, you realize that, or you may just get rid of this within next lifetime. So even this is something nobody even talk about or not even consider, because we all take these things for granted. That you may want to reincarnate. You may want to come back. I'm not speaking about situation where master is coming back and I want to reincarnate, come back with the master, like Mr. Puri speaks about his father, about his 5 lifetimes and all this regret, So this is not what I'm talking about, but let's say I am in that situation. Let's just say someone is in that situation. Well, they may say from that state of awareness, because in the astral form and causal form, you cannot change anything. In that sense, you're at the mercy of the show. But in the physical form, you have the illusion of the choice. But it is a real choice. Some people say, oh, it's not the choice. No, it is the real choice from the state of consciousness. And that's why we're here. So we can resolve these different things. The another aspect is you don't want to be in the astral or causal region after this life is the thought forms or sanskaras, which are form. This is something which stays in the mind. So it's important to work on these things. And in Kali Yuga, generally the masters will say, you create the karma in the human form, you create the karma. But in Kali Yuga, the karma is created when you act, when you actually do the deed. Now, Mr. Puri explained this a little bit differently. He says that the thinking process also create karma, not just the acting. So this is very interesting because some of this master will say, well, in Kali Yuga, it's acting which create the karma. So we have to look from the perspective of my master, and I dwelled on this, because we all trying to understand. My master says this, or my master says that, and he is my master. My understanding it is that the acting is the thinking, the imagination of thinking, which way you're doing that precedes the doing actually. So that's how it is tied into. So this is also important why we have to live good life. What does that mean? I mean, if you're married, you stay with your spouse stays with you. We got to do our best in all the relations and so forth and so forth. Also, we do not harm. We do not harm other people, or we do not harm other beings. Well, that may be more difficult because no matter what you do, even breathing in and out the air creates the karma from that point of view. You walk the path and you step on the ant, so this is Sant Mata does not require you to become a jnani, jnanism and all this religion. I don't know if I answered this question. So the responsibility of that karma is on you. It's on us. And this is individual responsibility. None of you live in someone else's karma. Each of you sitting right now, this pralap and this karma you're creating, all the rest, it's your karma. This is not your neighbor karma. This is not your spouse karma or anything like that. It's always individual karma. Although these arrangements can be tied in, from the past lives, let's call it. Maybe you were a husband and she was your wife. In this life, you are the wife and she is the husband. This interchange of the gender, for example. Please understand there was a question about LG, all this. Soul has no gender. This concept of gender does not exist within the soul. There's no male, there's no female. This division does not, it's not you. So there's a huge, let me go to that question, by the way. It doesn't affect this aspect is the aspect of the mind. It's aspect of the gender, and it's actually aspect of the physical body, or physical body genetics, but doesn't stop you on your spiritual life at all. these masters, when they look at you, let me put it that way, they do not see the gender. They look at the soul, okay? And soul has no gender. The gender is genetic imprint, DNA imprint. That's all it is. But it helps us with this life to distinguish these different karmic patterns. Now the problem may be that sometimes someone has a different gender, and they may start enforcing that on someone else. That's where the problems arise. Okay. Please accept me because I am this, or I'm transgender, and you know, this whole movement. But there's from the spiritual point of view, it doesn't matter. From the social point of view, you know, father and mother and the child, this may be important from that point of view. Raising children or having children. I never heard about men giving birth to the baby. Okay, I never heard about anything like that. And I think also there's, you know, so gender is the part of the experience. Now, if you look, my master, he had the family, he had the kids, grandkids, and just like a regular family. But this does not prevent from perfect living master leaving someone better or less. Or actually, I remember being around the master. There were a lot of people who were gay people. You will say, you know, they will either female or male. You know, they will, and I never seen any problem with that. They're just like everyone else. The problem is when we start saying, well, I'm better than you, or you have, it's my way or the highway. And that's where the problem starts. We're trying, we just have to respect everyone else's gender as they are. But from the soul point of view, there's no gender. This concept doesn't even exist there. I like to take a break. I try to answer some of these other questions after break very quickly, so we don't have to stay too long. Pranay, okay? Oh, let me before the break. So this question of how do we just make sure this is our last life? And the question is last astral and causal life. These whole patterns, they have to be resolved within this life. So all of that before you die. It's not about taking a rain check or what's going to happen after I die. This is not such about. This is not something. This has to be. My understanding is completed before you die. All of it. And is that the case for everyone? I wish that was the case for everyone. And there's many people who think, you know, this is the case, but may not be necessary that way. And we can also sabotage ourselves. We can be close to the master. We can be initiated by the perfect living master, but when master passes away, leaves his physical form, we sabotage ourselves. We start making claims, saying things, you know, doing things. We create such a karma, and now, well, this is an individual. Don't blame the master, okay, for that. Master took your sentient karma away, your prarabdha is according to before you were born, including your time of death. And now what you're dealing is the Kariman. So the master will tell you, okay, do this, do that, do meditation with love and devotion. Don't hurt your neighbor. And these instructions are endless. Let me explain something else. I witnessed something. There was a group of us, and there was a celebration. That was in December. I think it was 2006. I don't want to give you exact because you can put things together. Maybe I'll have to look it up in my journal. But so there's a group of us with my master, with Mr. Puri. And during that dinner, it was in an Indian restaurant. I even remember the name of the place. So, but each of us had the opportunity to sit with the master. Like whoever was there was like a few tables. But whoever was there, at one point, they had the opportunity to sit with the master at his table. And when I walk into that restaurant, I look the table, because the deal was always nobody wanted anybody to know where master is going to sit. He'll be sitting, because then you sit right next to the master, you will have a dinner with him, right? Like most of the time of that time. And I said, I was walking in, and there was another Satsang. Anyway, I said, master is going to sit there, right there on that chair and this table. I said that. I knew it. And but anyway, I went to such a different table. And master, people, there was a group of people, and master would walk in through the door and everything, and he would just go and straight to that chair. He was sitting exactly at the chair. I said, the master is going to sit. Before he even arrived. Anyway, during the dinner, many things happened. But now one of the things happened, whoever was, master would grant Sachkhand. Whoever was present there, at one point, master will not like to the individual person or this or that and this, do you better or you worse or anything like that. And he will reveal the mode of the great master, and that mode was that I will have to read my to tell you exactly. I don't really want to get into it too much, but because I'm kind of revealing something private in that sense. I won't tell you exactly where that was and who was there. I know exactly who was there, and some of these people already left, and I know exactly who they are. So, but I mean, left this physical plane, and he will grant just a Sachkhand out of the blue to earth. Then, so this was the mode of the master, perfect living master, and the great master. He will also add, and so everybody was like, people were like, whoa. They were standing and kind of some, like hugging each other, kind of a little bit, They were like looking at each other. It was an incredible moment. I mean, you just out of the blue sky, and master would say, "You are all true satsangis. You are the real satsangis," he said. In other words, not just pretending satsangis, but the real ones. And you are granted Sachkhand. Not reversible. So forget about your sanctions, forget about your pralab, forget about your Kariman in that sense. He will just grant. And he also said that if anyone has even slightest doubt, they can go within and check it out. He will instruct how you can check it out. He will tell that people, because this is like, whoa, there are millions of people trying to reach Sachkhand, and you just like, you just granted by the perfect living master. So if you're in company of the perfect living master, anything can happen. And this is the true story. I can give you exact place. I can give you exact date and the time about, the name of the place. And I won't tell you the people because that's a private for privacy. I will tell Grace. I don't know if did I tell you Grace? I can share that with Grace, but no one else really, because So these things happen. What do you do? I mean, in a situation like that. That's what I always say to the satsang. Or the satsang, make sure that you keep the right company, in the right company. Don't be deceived by all these different promises. Radha Swami, I need to take a break. I will come back and answer some other questions. So when I have, if you're still around. Thank you, Pranay.